Hi. If you're watching this video, then I'm going to assume that you've seen the new Halo Infinite gameplay trailer, which is pretty cool. There were a lot of things that got shown off in the trailer that were neat and interesting, and others that weren't. Specifically, graphics are a big issue right now, and I've seen some interesting debates come out of it. Sean W. just so happened to make a video on it. Checkmate arguments for top complaints about Halo Infinite's campaign demo. Bad graphics complaints destroyed. When I first saw this thumbnail, I honestly thought it was a joke, like some sort of Ben Shapiro Liberals Destroyed compilation. Well, alright, Socrates, I might as well hang my hat up and retire at this point, because with a title and thumbnail like that, there is no way I can defeat these arguments. Before I get into the video, here's a brief introduction to who I am. I am nobody. I have no subscribers, and my opinions don't matter. Now that we're both on the same page, now we can get into this video. One more thing. I genuinely don't care about the graphics of Halo Infinite that much. I think the game has some good things going for it, but it should be criticized because it's not perfect. I'm pretty much just making this video for the sole reason to make fun of the idea that you can create an indestructible argument about subjectivity of how something looks.
So I have a ton of thoughts about everything 343 just showed us of Halo Infinite's campaign, and I'll be sharing those thoughts in more detail soon. But I honestly just feel like what is needed right now is some strong pushback against all the negativity against the graphics of the game, that we're seeing like everywhere.
I think you're mistaking negativity for people being critical of an aspect shown off in the game. Negativity isn't always a bad thing. It shows what people don't like, which is important when talking about a game. The same can be said for being overly positive about a game.
Obviously, the main complaints about this campaign demo are all about the graphics, which I honestly never would have predicted, ahead of seeing this demo. Like, who would have thought that the debate about Sprint would have effectively been ended and people would be upset about the graphics instead, right? But anyways, after an objective analysis, it becomes obvious that the vast majority of people who are upset with how the game looks are not seeing the bigger picture.
So Sean likes to use the word objective a lot.
Objective analysis is objectively the game objectively looks awesome,
which is pretty funny because I don't think he understands what the word actually means. Objectivity comes into play when there is a solid fact about the graphics or the game itself, like the fact that the Slipspace engine is the next generation AAA engine capable of high graphic fidelity because we've seen it in the in-game rendered cinematics. That's a fact. What is an opinion is if you think it looks good or not. And you'll see Sean blur the lines between these two ideas over the course of the video.
And the negativity has crossed into the realm of an overreaction. Thus, I have come to the conclusion that what is needed the most right now is a counterattack. And I believe that the arguments I'm going to share with you in this video will silence most of the negativity.
I don't know what he's on about. Is there some great Halo community civil war coming? Are Halo YouTube channels going to be running the arms race of negativity? People critiquing the look of the new trailers is not a bad thing. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe all of the negative comments have some merit, give or take? Like maybe Infinite doesn't look that good. Come on, man. I don't know why you're treating this like you're the positivity crusader of the Halo community.
All right. So you know where I'm coming from, by the way. My general thoughts about the demo is that from a marketing perspective, it wasn't that good, and they didn't make the game look that great.
Oh, that's good. At least we can agree on something.
But it's because after I analyzed everything as objectively as I could, I just realized that I was wrong, all right? Not only that, but at the end of the day, I'm a huge Halo fan, and I will pick a side in situations, like this, where I think things are unfair.
Sometimes critics can be unreasonable, and sometimes there is an overreaction in the community. But I don't think that the community is being unfair in this case. Everyone sat down and saw on the 23rd the same graphics. No matter what argument you throw at it, the graphics speak for itself. It's not like any of your arguments will allow me to see the trailer differently. It's just the graphics. Everyone sees the same thing.
So by the end of this video, you will have a new set of arguments that I think you will be able to take and use to defeat pretty much anyone out there who is hating on or being negative about what we have seen so far of Halo Infinite.
I love how he uses the word defeat here, like arguing someone on a video game is like a fight to the death.
I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do, but I do predict that if people take these arguments and run with them, they will see, some really good results, and it will help Halo. It will make a difference.
Yeah, I'm not telling you what to do or anything, but be sure to go out there and use these arguments to wipe the floor with people. Yeah, I don't see how getting into arguments just for the sake of stopping negativity is going to help Halo at all. If anything, it's just going to make the dialogue in the community even worse.
If you're someone who is unhappy with the graphics, I really hope that you will at least hear out, what I'm going to say and give it a chance. I think the arguments that I'm going to present here also show why anyone who's being negative and upset, about the graphics, you should actually be excited.
Have you ever thought that maybe someone can be unhappy with the graphics and still be excited for the game? Like those two aren't mutually exclusive? The graphics are just one aspect of the game. The rest of it looks like it has a lot of great things going for it. It's okay if Infinite doesn't have good graphics in my book, if its gameplay is just really good.
Alright, so the first argument is pretty killer, and it goes like this. Based on what we saw in the demo for Halo Infinite's campaign, the game looks better than its direct competition already. And that's really all it has to do.
This argument is just an opinion. It's completely subjective. The idea that Infinite's graphics just need to be better than the competition is dumb. Nobody is sitting down thinking, well, if it's better than Fortnite, I guess it's good. What people should be comparing the graphics to is the in-game cinematic trailers we saw earlier, because the differences in graphical fidelity is jarring. And I realize gameplay and trailers are different, but the trailers show us how good the engine can actually make the game look.
Although Halo's popularity is not what it once was, its primary competition is still any popular mainstream shooter game, in particular, competitive shooters. Don't forget that Halo is still a flagship Xbox franchise, right? And it's not a niche product. So, what games are Halo Infinite's main competition? Easy. Games like Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex Legends, Valorant, and more recently, Hyperscape, which has been making some waves and honestly looks kind of cool. And guess what? The version of Halo Infinite that we saw in the campaign demo this past week is already graphically superior to literally all of those games.
That's just your opinion. You think that this looks better. It doesn't make it graphically superior. And also, quick note, if you think that this looks better than this, you might have brain damage. Just saying.
All right? And that's before considering the fact that 343 is already saying that the final product will look even better. I went and double checked for myself, and you can too. Halo Infinite looks just as good as or better than literally all of its direct competition. Compared to Fortnite, Valorant, and Hyperscape, it's not even a competition, and it blows those games away, and those games aren't even really trying to impress you graphically anyway.
Ah yes, Halo's direct competition, Fortnite. I think it's funny how he uses shitty recorded gameplay of Fortnite too. Look, all I'm trying to say is, if you need to double check the Halo Infinite trailer just because you didn't see the good graphics on your first watch, you might just be under the placebo effect.
Compared to Apex Legends, for example, Halo Infinite already looks a little better, in my opinion, and when they turn it up a bit by launch, it will easily surpass Apex Legends. In my opinion...
You just admitted it! You just admitted that this argument is your opinion. It is your opinion that Infinite looks better than Apex. Like I said, this isn't even an argument, it's just your opinion. It's not objective, it's not a fact, this is how you feel. Also, assuming that the game is just going to look better eventually isn't a super rock solid argument either, although I do hope that is going to be true.
Then you have Call of Duty Warzone, which is, currently not that far behind Fortnite in terms of popularity. Halo Infinite already clearly and safely beats that game too.
Ah yes, because as long as Halo looks better than Fortnite, the graphics must be good. I don't know how this guy can compare Halo to Fortnite unironically. Like, it's impressive.
So, graphically speaking, Halo Infinite only has to look better than its competition and please its target audience. And I just showed you how it literally looks better than all of its competition, even in its current state, right? So you can easily use this argument by pointing out to people that Infinite looks better than its direct competition. And thus, anyone complaining about the graphics is objectively making a totally irrelevant argument.
None of what you just said makes any sense at all. Like, because you think the game looks better than Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone now makes my argument irrelevant. What kind of crack are you smoking?
Like, the negativity towards the graphics is based on not putting the game into its proper context. The best way to counter these general complaints, about the graphics is just by sharing images comparing Infinite to its direct competition, like I just showed you. Since people, being negative about Infinite are basically acting in bad faith, whether they realize it or not, because they're cherry picking and using only the worst screenshots that they can find, right? Do the same thing in reverse, bros. Fight fire with fire, right? Go cherry pick the worst screenshots you can find of Halo Infinite's competition, while also cherry picking the best screenshots you can find of Infinite, and then go share those comparisons around. All right? The fact is that Infinite looks better than its direct competition.
I don't feel like anybody is really cherry picking when it comes to Infinite. I mean, on a whole, from the beginning to the end of the gameplay trailer, there are prevalent graphical issues, from models to lighting to animations to details. I don't feel like anybody was really being unfair or misleading when posting comparisons showing how bad the graphics were. But on the other hand, this whole idea of encouraging people to find the worst screenshots of other games is acting in bad faith, to quote Sean. For someone who is so hellbent on spreading positivity, you really are doing a fantastic job by encouraging your fans to post misleading screenshots. By the way, don't do that. It'll just make you look retarded. And, yeah, I wouldn't take much of anything else this guy says seriously either.
You literally cannot defeat this argument, which is why I call it a checkmate argument.
If this is your definition of an undefeatable argument, I would really love to see one of your regular arguments.
All right, now what someone might do once you destroy them with this argument is that they're going to try and pivot to comparing Halo Infinite to past Halo games, right? Which leads us into the next argument. All arguments that are comparing the graphics of Halo Infinite to past Halo games are completely irrelevant, because this is an all-new style of Halo game with a campaign radically different from any past game. The fact is that Halo Infinite is not comparable to past Halo games because it's nothing like past Halo games. This is an open-world Halo game with far more scale than any other Halo game before it. 343 themselves said the environments that we're going to be able to explore are overall much bigger than both Halo 4 and Halo 5 combined.
Okay, so to be fair, I think this argument might actually have some merit. Considering Infinite is doing something new, being an open world game, it's understandable why it wouldn't look as good as a linear style campaign. In open world, the game is constantly rendering things, so I kind of get where this argument is coming from. But still, it's not unheard of to find a high-quality, graphically detailed open-world game. Look at games like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light, Metal Gear Solid 5, basically any Ubisoft game. A good-looking open-world game is possible. That, combined with the fact that we have no idea how big Infinite's open world is going to be or how it's going to be rendered, means that this is a pretty weak argument on its head.
And I'll even give you a bonus argument right now, all right, before we move on to argument number 3.
Oh, a bonus argument. Lucky me.
The bonus argument for dealing with people comparing Infinite to past Halo games is simply pointing out that Infinite looks just as good, if not better than the past games, right? And that's despite it being a much more massive game.
It's just another opinion. I'm starting to get the idea that you don't understand what an objective argument is.
We honestly should invite people to compare, Infinite to past Halo games because it's an easy win, right? Like, let people go down this route. People being negative and comparing Infinite to past games are acting in bad faith, all right? Like I explained in argument 1, they are cherry picking the best screenshots from past games. So once again, bros, go cherry pick the worst screenshots you can find from past Halo games while cherry picking the best screenshots you can find of Infinite, and then go share those around, right?
Okay, we get it. You think that everyone who is upset with the graphics are just haters who are acting in bad faith. But dude, you are encouraging that behavior. You are a part of the problem. You are not stopping it.
Like, really? We're letting people get away with comparing Infinite to Halo 3. Seriously. Like, this is the easiest win ever. Let's go cherry pick some screenshots of Halo 3 and compare them to some great shots from Halo Infinite. It's like the easiest win of all time. All right, let's wrap this up with argument number 3, which at this point is just like wiping the floor with people, but whatever, man. A debate is a debate, and the negativity has to be stopped regardless.
Right. Yeah. Please wipe the floor with me, you fucking master of debate.
Argument number 3 goes like this. The game objectively looks awesome to the majority of people who look at it and who also have little to no past experience with Halo games. If you notice, the vast majority of the negativity is coming from within the Halo community. But like I've said a million times, this isn't Halo 6. This is a reboot game targeting a much broader audience outside of the Halo community.
So not only is this objectively false, but more importantly, it doesn't even make sense. So major game publications like Eurogamer, IGN, Polygon, Forbes, hell, even the Washington Post have published articles about Halo's poor graphics.
That's unlucky.
Does this look good to anyone?
Nope.
Like
No.
visually?
That's the other qualifier. It had to look good too.
Assassin's Creed and Halo Infinite style.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, I think.
Man, why does this Warthog sound like someone turned on a blender?
Obviously, the highest amount of critique is going to come from the Halo community online because it's the game's core audience. But none of this really matters at all because it has absolutely nothing to do with the graphics. Whether the negativity comes from the Halo community or not, it doesn't change the way the graphics look. The graphics are just there, and most people hold the opinion that they don't look so good.
So the game only really has to look good to people who have never played Halo before. And guess what? It does. You can easily use this argument by asking one simple question against anyone, who's being negative. Just ask them some version of this. Would you have been excited for this game if you had seen it when you were younger and it was your first time seeing a Halo game? Now, the vast majority of people, if they answered honestly, they would have to say yes. Because, once again, it's a reboot, so it's foolproof. 343 has explicitly made it clear that they made this game with the express purpose of making it feel like Combat Evolved for a reason.
So this checkmate question has absolutely nothing to do with the graphics yet again. If someone asked me that question trying to completely destroy me in an argument with facts and logic, I would probably assume they weren't getting enough oxygen to their brain and call an ambulance because it's not relevant to the topic at all. Like I said earlier, someone can still be unhappy with the graphics and also be excited for the rest of the game. The graphics are only one aspect of the game. Alright, well I'm pretty much done with that. That's all I really wanted to show of Sean's video. The last 3 minutes is just him encouraging his fan base to go argue with people, and the normal outro spiel of, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe or whatever. My personal opinions on Halo Infinite is that I'm disappointed in the gameplay demo's graphics, but overall I'm happy with most of the things that I saw in the demo. I think the open world idea will be pretty cool, and I think the game is taking Halo into a new interesting direction. I'm still going to wait for the reviews before getting it, but oh yeah, don't go and harass Sean W for this. I may think he's retarded, but I wouldn't go and cause him any negativity because he might smite me down with some checkmate arguments and put me in the hospital. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't subscribe because I'm not making any more.